Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs and welcome back to the Minecraft Survival Guide. I hope you guys are having a good day. We're starting off today's episode over at the Suspicious Stew Factory very briefly. Just wanted to go over a couple of changes I've made to the outside, and as you can see, we have a couple of factory chimneys here smoking away thanks to some campfires on top of hay bales, making sure that those smoke particles drift up super high into the air. The campfires are just down there smoking in the chimneys, and on the front of the build, I've got these two rounded windows. Well, I say rounded, the bricks on the outside are round on this one, but I couldn't really go any bigger than a 3x3 square, and up there we just have a fairly basic circle just with kind of 3 glass panes on the outside of that 3x3 square, and I think they both look pretty great. I think it's nice to have those big round windows in here, and that's what I originally envisioned for the front wall of this factory to begin with. Really gives it that industrial feel that you'd have in the kind of factories of the era that I was basing this on. But the inside is pretty much the same as it was. I've been extending this out here and trying to use scaffolding blocks as like a catwalk kind of thing. And it looks a little bit better from above than it does from below. If we take a quick look up here, you can kind of see this area being like a raised gantry kind of thing that you could walk around. But yeah, the scaffolding doesn't really look as great from down below as I expected it to. I expect it to look a little bit more industrial than it does. And I think the problem is just that it looks too wooden. I was kind of hoping it to have just more of like the grill kind of, the wrought iron sort of look to it, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I should swap that out for another material in the fullness of time. I like the style of this, but it's just the material that doesn't quite make sense. The color palette isn't quite right. But aside from that, the Suspicious Stew cows are all milked now at this point, except for the one that has wither roses, because of course I only have about like 10 of those left. In the grand scheme of things, we'll probably make ourselves a wither rose farm, but that is not going to be today's activity. Instead, today, I want to spend a little bit more time with passive mobs, and I want to spend a little bit more time with some advancements, because in the husbandry tab, we now have one advancement left, and that is to tame all the variants of cats. We've got one of them already, that's over at the jungle village, but there are 10 more out there, and stray cats now spawn in villages kind of randomly. So what I was thinking we could do is go out in search of some villages and find some cat friends to bring back home. But I figured rather than just bring the cats over here and just leave them lying around, as it were, even though we've got a few cats over on the ship, I thought I wanted to do something a little different with these guys. And so this house over here, or this shop over here, because these houses up here are actually kind of in use as shops, this one at the back here hasn't been built yet. And I always had it in my mind that I would build a little cafe, like a kind of street cafe with umbrellas, and people would be able to sit out here. And it might be a kind of two-story thing with a balcony or something like that, but it would be a nice open-air kind of casual meetup spot. And what I thought now, having the scaffolding around is kind of reminding me of this actually, what I thought I would do is turn this into a cat cafe. And cat cafes have been popping up all over the place. They are pretty common in the average urban area these days because people like to come and relax and hang out with cats. It's a phenomenon that I think has spread throughout the world a little bit as well. And I like the idea of having a place, basically it's right next door to the pet shop too, so you could guarantee that they would be well cared for. And I think it would be really cool to have a little cat cafe here in Founder's Forge, also facing away from the ravine, so, you know, a better chance of slightly better quality air for the cats. And I think this would be a really nice space to build something like that. So I think that's what we're going to do. First of all, though, we have to guarantee that the method is going to be sound and we will actually be able to find ourselves some cats over at the villages. So in the interests of keeping the trip home a little short and avoiding the mammoth journey I had to do to get the cats back from the jungle biome, I thought what I would do is come out to this tiger village, which I'm pretty sure is the closest new village to where I'm at over at the spawn point. Now, the old villages, if you still have them in your world, if you've brought your world forward from a previous version, can still spawn cats, but of course you have to have all of the requirements there for it to be counted as a village. You've got to have villagers with beds and workstations, at least I'm pretty sure. It might just be villagers and beds, but To guarantee that you're going to get cats spawning, you'll probably want to make sure you have a bit of the village infrastructure around you, just so that these guys will feel like it's home, and so that stray cats will become attracted to the area. According to the Minecraft wiki, cats spawn based on the number of valid beds in the area, and there's got to be at least 4 of those. And I'm fairly certain that this village has at least 4 beds around here. There's one there, one there. There's definitely one up in that house over here, and there's probably one in this house here as well. They all follow pretty much the same design here in the Tiger Village, so there is plenty of that to go around, and hopefully if we keep our ears open, we should hear the meowing of a cat turning up relatively soon. There's one now! Hey, hello my friends! It looks like you're coming up nice and quick as well. Let's give you a fish or two. And it's going to take a couple of fish in order to tame it. Nope, didn't like those. Apparently it's running away. It's okay. All we have to do is stay still, just like we're taming the ocelots, and they won't run away from us for long. Come back, little fella. Come back and have a fish. Seems to have wandered over the edge here. I can still hear the meowing in the distance. There we go. Hi. You back for more? Couldn't resist the tasty fish. There we go. Hey, we got ourselves a tamed cat. And let's just check that as a new one on the list. Yep, we got cat number 2. Number 1, I believe, is over by the jungle swamp village, so we may have to go and rescue that one at some point, but that's going to be a long trip. In the meantime, let's take you back to your new home at Founder's Forge. And just like the other tamed cats that we brought back from the jungle the other day, all we need to do is take very short flights, just stopping every so often to make sure the cat has a space it can teleport to us and make sure that it's within the range of the loaded chunks that we've got around us right now. But all we should have to do is fly over this mountain range here, and we should be back home. And there we go. This cat is probably going to have to stay down here in the basement for the time being until we get the cat cafe all set up. But pretty soon, we should have a nice little area with kitty jungle gyms and stuff for them to run around at, and possibly a counter where the human visitors can come around and get some food. So, with our theory proven, and with 1 cat out of the 11 tamed, I think it's time to do some building. Welcome back, folks. Hope you enjoyed the time lapse, and we have here a sort of completed cat cafe. Still a little rough around the edges here and there. Still a couple of things that I might tweak in the grand scheme of things, but if I can get up on here, oh, there we go. We have a really nice little area here. I went with a few details here, which I think you'll kind of like, so let me walk you through some of it. First of all, got the patio tables out the front here. We've also got armor stands kind of embedded into this, which not only allows it to look like the table actually has some support underneath the scaffolding block, and scaffolding blocks look really nice as tables, but I wanted to have the umbrella poking up through that. But the armor stand's kind of shoulders also look like those kind of cranks that you have on these things to open up the patio umbrella. So while that obviously has no functionality within the game, it's also kind of nice to look at. Lecterns are fantastic to have outside of restaurant builds, as you know, if you go to a restaurant, they usually have like a copy of the menu on the outside of the building so you can see what kind of food they serve, how expensive it is, that kind of stuff. So I thought it'd be really nice to have that. Alternatively, it could be like a serving station for the staff, for them picking up like cutlery and menus and stuff like that to bring out to the people who are sat at the tables. So I thought that'd be really nice. Got a nice kind of greenery around the entrance, little canopy here, and then you go in, and of course I wasn't really able to show much of the interior on the time-lapse, so as you come in, this is what you get. You get a nice little cozy area, lots of carpets around, and lots of stuff that the cats could end up sitting on. I've got like little shelves here and there with carpets on, somewhere that they could get a high spot, because some cats like being up high, but I've got little carpets around here by the tables as well, and I imagine once we start populating this area with cats, we could just have them sat on basically every square of carpet in the place. Cats in Minecraft also like to sit on top of chests. You'll find that a lot of the time they sit on your chests and prevent them from opening, which is kind of irritating, but then that's cats for you, really. I thought it'd be nice to have a loom over here as well, almost to mimic the kind of scratching toys that they might have. Sometimes you got these big pads of material that cats can tear at, and a loom seems like a good block for that kind of thing. And so, yeah, we've only got one cat in here right now. The cat that I brought with me is out the back here, sat on the bed, which is another behavior that cats have now. They can actually lay down on top of you if you're lying in a bed, which is kind of sweet. And they make that kind of purring noise when you're in bed. But, yeah, I figured out here, there's not a great deal out here right now, but I thought I could simulate having, like, litter trays with diorite here. We could even make that diorite slabs now that diorite slabs are a thing. Might make that look a little bit more realistic than it's just sat in the floor right about now, and we'll have to move the trapdoors around a little bit for that, of course. But behind here, I've got a couple of, speaking of trapdoors, I've got some trapdoors that can kind of flap open to give the impression that there are kitty doors in the place, and that they could walk in and out from this back area where they need to do their business. Got a few bookshelves and paintings around here. I really wanted this place to feel a little bit colourful, and I might put some furnaces and cooking-looking stuff around the counter here just so where people could prepare the food for the patrons, because, of course, this is a cafe. People are going to come and want to get in and get food and drinks and that kind of stuff, but they're also coming here to hang out with the resident felines. Up the top here, we got a nice little terrace patio kind of area. Got even more of the umbrellas. I just like this umbrella design, so I had to use it a few times. And we've got another lectern up here, just in case the staff need another serving station. And that's about it, really, aside from, yeah, a few decorations here and there. And a nice open roof, too. I figured it would probably be better to keep the roof a little bit more like a kind of temporary shelter kind of thing than a full over-the-top roof, especially with this being more of a balcony design and working with quite a limited footprint, because I didn't leave myself much room to build what is otherwise going to be quite a complicated structure. So this might seem a little bit cramped to you guys, but the cats should find it a nice home. And I've even got little cat trees here and there with the carpets and trapdoors on top of fences. I like that. I like those little designs quite a bit. So the trick now is going to be going out and finding all the other varieties of cats. We've got one or two of them around the place already, but we are short, I think, 9 different varieties of cat. So I'm going to go around to some of the villages around the world. I'm going to stop off at as many of them as I can, and we're going to try and find a cat. But I think I know, before we start looking at villages, where we could potentially find a different type of cat altogether. And that is over here at the witch hut, because while there are obviously witches who spawn in these things as residents, there is another resident, oftentimes in the form of a black cat, that spawns here sort of as the witch is familiar, but it is still a stray cat that you can tame. if you want to. Now, I'm going to stick around on the roof to see if I hear any meowing sounds, because it seems like I'm hearing a witch, but I don't know if I'm hearing the cat. So let's hop down here and see if we can deal with the witch. Excuse me, I'm gonna have to take over this place if we want it to be safe for cat spawns. Now, of course, I'm pretty sure cats are still beholden to the usual passive mob spawning rules, where they won't spawn too close to the player, so we might have to fly away and come back a couple of times to see if a black cat will spawn here. But you will get uniquely black cats at witch huts. I think they can still spawn around the other villages and so forth around the world, but you will still find that only black cats spawn in the witch huts. So let's refresh the spawns a couple of times while we're around here, and let's see if we can get hold of a black cat from this witch hut. Well, I've been back and forth a couple of times, and it looks like we're not going to get one from this witch hut. The lack of spawning space around here might actually be working against us in this case, because a cat could spawn in or around the vicinity of a witch hut, depending on how big the hitbox is. But I'm also running very low on elytra durability, and I need to go and repair it before I go exploring around the world looking for the other villages. So hopefully we'll be able to find a witch hut on our journeys, but I think for now I'm going to cut away, and I'll come back when we are ready to tame some cats. Hey, that's another one in the bag, and I think this one might actually be the one that we've already got over at the jungle village. So yeah, we can probably tick that one. No, yeah, we definitely got this one before. This one was over at the jungle swamp village. So that's good. We don't have to go all the way out to that, because that's about 8,000 blocks away. Good stuff. All right, we'll bring you back to the cat cafe as well. Night is falling, so need to make sure that we make this trip nice and swift. Although I guess having a cat around will probably prevent creepers from running into me for the next little while. And this one seems to have found its way up there to the roof. So maybe that's where it's going to stay. Maybe that can be its little high perch or something like that. But cats are also pretty resistant to fall damage. So if it decides to drop down off of there, I really don't see it taking a great deal of damage in the meantime. The main concern I have is just making sure this one sits so that it's not going to be following me for the rest of this little adventure. Otherwise, I can potentially lose a bunch of cats along the way. At least this way, we know this one is safe, and while I go and sleep, we can think about where we're going to pick up our next cat. I heard another cat. Where are you? It's difficult finding them in the long grass of a savanna, but I'm back here at the savannah village to see if we can get a type of cat from around here. And I'm fairly certain that the cats aren't regional or anything. They don't belong to specific villages, as far as I can tell. They do just pop up completely randomly, except for the ones that spawn in witch huts, but I can't see it anymore, and I can't... Oh, no, there it is on the horizon. That one looks like it's got orange patches. That's cool looking. Hello, hello. As the sun is going down, so I'm a little bit wary right now. But I imagine the cat is as well, so that makes two of us. Where are you? There you are. Oh, it's like the one that... There's one that actually comes to our garden that's a local neighborhood cat that looks like that. Let me see if I can coax it a little bit closer with the promise of some fish. Oh, the zombies out here aren't really going to help. I wonder if I can find a bed in the village. I imagine a lot of them will be taken up by villagers, but now the cat has spawned up here, I expect it will stick around. So let me try and find a spare bed, and I'll be back in a second. There we go. A few creepers spawned overnight and aren't burning in the sun, of course, but we should be able to deal with those, and hopefully our new cat friend might be able to deal with them as well. Oh, there's another one. There are two cats here. We get a twofer, double. Let's see if we can coax that other one a little closer, though, because they don't seem to have spotted me quite yet. Thankfully, that skeleton under the tree over there hasn't either. This one up here is playing very hard to get. I'm just going to try and stand still and see if it spots me in a second. I am just slightly worried about stuff sneaking up on me while I do that. There you go. Come on down. Oh, it's got one eye that's a different color. This is so adorable. Yes. Oh, we got you. Fantastic. Now let's see if your friend up there is interested as well. I keep getting faked out by the other animals too. I thought I spotted a black and white one. It turned out it was just a cow. So they might be a little bit more difficult to spot in the long grass, and it might be even more difficult to spot them while there is another cat around making cat noises. So I might have to tell this one to sit here while I go and find its friend. There it is. Our Siamese kitty friend is still wandering around here, but hopefully we can coax it back up here. Yep, looks like it's coming our way. Fantastic. As long as none of these cows spook it. Here's hoping we can feed it some fish. Yay, one and done. First try, not bad. Okay, let's bring these two back then. That should be 4 cats out of 11. And I'm probably going to do a bunch of this off camera because otherwise this is going to get really repetitive for you guys. But I'll bring you back in when we are taming our final cat of the bunch. And then hopefully we'll be able to pronounce it the grand opening of our cat cafe at Founders Forge. Alright guys, we are 6 cats in and I have just found possibly the most important cat. And you can see her through the long grass over there. I have found a Jelly. And Jelly needs to be rescued from the water right now. But Jelly is the cat of another YouTuber named Good Times with Scar, who won the community vote for having his cat added into the game. And if you want to go and see pictures of the real Jelly to compare them, go and check out Good Times with Scar's Twitter. I believe he has an Instagram as well. He is also very much worth your time if you haven't checked out his videos before. It seems absurd for me to give him a shout out because he's a lot bigger than I am, but he is a great YouTuber and does some incredible landscaping work. And perhaps most importantly for this video, his cat is freaking adorable. So once Jelly makes her way out of the river here, we will give her a couple of fish. There we go. Oh, and hopefully she will be our friend and we can have ourselves a brand new Jelly cat. And we have a Jelly! Hey, wonderful stuff. Oh, it's going to be so good to bring you back to the cat cafe and your new friend who is actually like a snub-nosed cat, like a Persian-style cat. Some cats have the little box on the front of their texture, on their block model rather, that kind of makes it look like a muzzle. This one doesn't have that at all. It's a completely like flat-faced cat, which is kind of cute. Okay, we're not that far away from home. This is just another plains village I've been out to visit, so it's time to head back and install these two in the cat cafe. There we go. We've got Jelly over here by the window, and a lot of the other cats have decided to hang out outside because I think they're trying to pathfind to these beds up here. Cats like hanging out on beds, but we could probably push 1 or 2 of them inside if we just give them a gentle nudge. They don't like following you all that much, cats. They tend to just kind of hang around and explore whilst they are like stood up like this. They will, yeah, see, that one's trying to wander up here and probably try and get to the beds. But it's kind of nice to have them all arranged outside like this, and I managed to get Jelly indoors and into the window over here, so she's going to be sat there for a good little while. But that's 7 out of 11 so far, only 4 more cats to go. Let's do it. Well, ladies and gents, I have 10 of the 11 cats, and the last one, the one that has evaded me this entire time, is down there in the trees. The black cat from the witch hut is the last one that we need to complete this advancement, and I'm so happy to get this done because let me tell you, once you've got down to like the last couple of cats that you need to find, it becomes really difficult to find the right breeds. So I've been doing this for much longer than I expected to, but that's almost over now. All we have to do is lure this cat out of the water with the promise of some tasty salmon. I've actually gone through basically all of the fish that I had, all of the cod that I had, and basically like all of my Elytra durability is almost used up again, but we're almost here. Now let's see if we can coax this cute little thing over here and see if we can give it some fish. They have been giving me the runaround lately, though. It's a little bit tricky to get them on your side at first. We just got to be very, very patient, which, believe me, is a little bit difficult when you've been at this for as long as I have. One piece of good news about these cats, though, is that on Bedrock Edition, if you're playing Bedrock Edition, they will have a higher chance of spawning during a full moon. Basically, if the moon is full and you're around an area where village cats will be able to spawn, 50% of them are going to generate as these black cats. So if, like me, you've had trouble tracking this one down, just wait until a full moon, which it's not right now, and it doesn't really work the same on Java Edition, but these cats will be much more common at that point. Oh, looks like we've caught its attention. Finally, as the sun is going down, we might be able to complete the advancement. Yay! There we go. We've got ourselves a complete catalogue. Oh, it's so good to get that done after how long it's taken. All right, my friend, we need to head home. I'm pretty sure home is in a northwesterly kind of direction, in this way. Yeah, okay, great. We are good to go. And with all of the cats assembled for our grand opening, we can finally drop a sign on the front of this and call this place The Complete Catalogue. I think we have earned that today. I think that has been quite the journey, and that is where we're going to end the journey of today's episode. Folks, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Minecraft Survival Guide. My name has been Pixlriffs. Don't forget to leave a like on this episode if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now.